Warning, graphic content. Viewer's discretion is strongly advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, may I have your attention, please? The moment you have all been waiting for. Here he is, making his way from the freak show to ruin your fucking day. Chaos, the Clown.
Most people associate clowns with joy and laughter and fun, but this clown, it's not an ordinary clown. This is a sadistic, foul-mouthed cancer disguised as a clown. For nearly a decade, Chaos the Clown has been choking, stabbing, beating, and carving his way through the underground and backyard wrestling territories. He is an unpredictable, unapologetic menace. With a combination of him being a dirty fighter, a biter, and having every disease known to man, makes him an ultimate threat. Not to mention, he is completely insane. The man has no mental stability at all, and not to mention the violent outbursts that he has in midway through matches. During these outbursts, you can see him beating people mercilessly that don't deserve it and throwing stuff at the crowd. Not to mention the slew of profanity that left in his mouth, in front of children especially too. Win or lose, it didn't matter to him. Chaos the Clown just looked for maximum damage, maximum blood, maximum effect, and maximum torture. He enjoyed humiliating and degrading his opponents, the audience, and everyone around him. His joy was from everyone else's misery and discomfort. That's what made him happy, and that's what drove him. The clown getup was clearly a diversion, because you look at him as a joke, but then your fate is sealed when you get in the ring. Most of the time, victims, might as well say, because they're not even opponents, they are victims, because more times or less you're seeing them getting cut and beat or stabbed or choked. And that's just for the people that haven't already pissed Chaos the Clown off yet, because the people that pissed him off, their fates were a lot worse. Whether they were getting shots for diseases that he had, just to name a few, tetanus, it's rumored that he had rabies, but that's just clearly speculation. It's never been confirmed, but regardless to the fact, the man is a heavy drug user, doesn't like to brush his teeth, and has a bad diet. So, in turn, his mouth is crawling with bacteria, and as stated earlier, he bites. The man has bitten many people, has broken skin, has drawn blood from these bites, so you know guaranteed they're walking away with some kind of disease or infection. And that's all the shit that he does when he's kind of sober, when he's not really high. When he's really, really high, he gets a lot worse. He becomes more sadistic, more violent, more unpredictable than he already is. And he is a ticking time bomb from the minute he enters the ring to the minute he leaves the ring. Anything and everything could possibly happen when you are in the ring with Chaos the Clown, because you're in a fight for your life. He is willing to try to hurt you as much as possible, and he enjoys every minute of it. He loves hurting people and inflicting pain. And as an ultimate opportunist, Chaos the Clown will make sure he finds a way to exceed the maximum damage. There's no way he is human, because how is someone going to be stopped that inflicts mutilation, self-harm, and pain on themselves just because they're bored? Chaos the Clown has stated he will cut, burn, and hit himself just because he's bored, just because he wants to. Like, what kind of person does that? I don't believe he is human. And if he is, he needs some serious psychiatric help. I mean, seriously, you cut and burn and poke and stab and mutilate yourself just because you're bored. Just because you want to get your jollies. Look at him, just beating the shit out of Dr. F. Like, what did he ever do to Chaos? Like, seriously, what did Dr. F ever do? Nothing. He did nothing wrong, and Chaos is that kind of guy who would just come in and punch a referee in the dick and just leave, because he's that much of an asshole. And I also believe he's that much of an asshole because he knows he can, because he's freaking insane. And if someone tries to confront him, he'll probably just bite their face off and go crazy like a rabid spider monkey. So a lot more times than out of none, people try to avoid Chaos the Clown at all costs. But sometimes they're not so lucky, and he goes and finds them because he sees a crowd of people and decides to just start laying waste to people. Like here, he just inserts himself right in the middle of a rumble, and he wasn't even in the rumble. He just came out and was just beating the hell out of people. And as you can see, the clusterfuck here, how he's just going around picking targets without a rhyme or reason. He just sees an opening and takes it. It's like I said earlier, Chaos is an ultimate opportunist, so wherever opening he's taken, anything, he's going to take the liberties on that. So without further ado, this is Greasepaint and Bloodstains, the Chaos the Clown story. Chapter 1, Danny Dangerous. Danny Dangerous was the first feud with Chaos the Clown back in 2016. Danny decided to pretty much trying to get in the way of Chaos and what he was doing, and Chaos was not having it. So this led to their first blood match, which Chaos won by biting Danny's head open. And this is where his down started, because he wasn't too mentally stable to begin with, but this was definitely the starting point of Chaos's downward spiral of insanity. And every time he's gotten in the ring with Danny after that, he's humiliated him time and time again. He's constantly just discredited Danny from anything of being a wrestler. That's what Chaos does. You piss Chaos off, he makes it a point to bury his opponent, to humiliate, degrade, bury his opponent, and turn them into a laughing stock and a mockery, because that's how Chaos is. You piss Chaos off, he's gonna pull every trick in the book to make you look like the asshole and you the joke. You are the punchline and the butt of all Chaos's jokes once you piss him off. And Danny has done more than his fair share of pissing Chaos the Clown off. As you can see, Chaos gives zero fucks about Danny, and he does not care about Danny's credibility. He wants to humiliate him. He wants everyone to see what a fucking joke Danny really is. And that's Chaos's goal, to prove other wrestlers are a bigger joke than him. And that's sad, because he is the clown. And you lose to a clown, you're fucking worthless, pretty much. Some people have recovered, but Danny, nah, Danny has not recovered from this whatsoever. He's forever gonna be in history as the guy that had his ass handed by Chaos. Let's just say Danny Dangerous' career has never recovered, and he's been on a losing streak ever since this. Been losing time and time again because of Chaos. Chapter 2, Juggalo Jesus. Juggalo Jesus was actually brought in by Dolvon Satan to try to keep Chaos occupied, because Chaos the Clown was trying to get in the way of Dolvon Satan's business and trying to take over the company. So Juggalo Jesus was brought in as a distraction, and Chaos and Juggalo Jesus had very, very intense blood matches. The 2 times they faced off, they were brutal matches, and it was a lot of bloodshed and was insane. Like, they killed each other. Like, Juggalo Jesus was probably one of the closest opponents to Chaos that he's met, that he actually had a run for his money, because Juggalo Jesus was about just as fucking crazy as Chaos the Clown was. So that level of crazy together equals a whole lot of mayhem and destruction, and it was brutal. Especially their second match, the False Count Anywhere, was one of the most brutal matches I've ever witnessed. Chapter 3, Jacob Yeager. Now, Jacob Yeager was another one that was a serious threat to Chaos the Clown, so much to the fact that they had to bring their feuds to the level of death matches. Chaos the Clown and Jacob Yeager had the first ever death match in Destruction Championship Wrestling, and it was insanity. Their matches were also bloody, violent, intense, and Jacob Yeager, he had Chaos, he had the best of Chaos, and that's what happened. That's when Chaos felt the threat, because Jacob Yeager is such a mammoth of a man and such a powerful specimen, and Chaos the Clown had a match that was crazy. So guess what? We're gonna pull the weapons out. There has to be a way to bring this juggernaut down, so that's what Chaos is gonna try to do. But Jacob Yeager definitely left his mark on Chaos, and Chaos, I'm sure, left his mark on Jacob Yeager, where they knew. So I'll tell you what, those two beat the living shit out of each other on multiple occasions, and 90% of their matches were death matches. I think there was only like 2 or 3 actual hardcore matches. When Chaos and Jacob Yeager were entered the same ring, you know, glass, fire, explosives, and sharp objects were on the table. Chapter 4, Pavor. The rumors that he faced Chaos a long while ago. They knew each other for a while, and I guess he disfigured Pavor's face, where he like mutilated him. Now he's wearing a mask. He has to wear a mask because his face is so disfigured. And he came back looking for revenge on Chaos. Apparently he found him, and their matches too. Complete bloodbaths. Another person that posed some kind of threat to Chaos, and their matches were gruelingly brutal, violent, and very physical too. Another series of matches that were complete insanity. To add more to this story between Chaos and Pavor, it's also rumored, never proven, that Chaos murdered Pavor's family after mutilating his face. So this also led to Pavor wanting more revenge on Chaos. And this escalated to bigger, more bloodier, more violent matches when all this was surfaced. And a lot of their matches were borderline death matches as well, because Pavor's pissed and Chaos is crazy, and they were both trying to kill each other, because obviously Chaos thought he killed Pavor initially, but now he wants to finish the job. And Pavor wants to end Chaos because of everything he did. It's like their matches were very, very, very brutal as well. And it went for a while, and to this day, off and on, is still going. I honestly believe this feud will go on until at least one of them kill each other, because this is the way it's been going, and the elevation of the violence that's been through each match, it's gotten more and more violent. There's been more and more blood, and there's been more and more stipulations for them to try to hurt each other and kill each other. So I honestly don't think either one of them are gonna be over until they're eventually one of them are dead. And I don't see that happening anytime soon because they're both resilient. And this is overall history and revenge and unfinished business. So both ends, Pavor has something on his end and Chaos has something on their end. And that's what's going to drive them. That's what's going to drive them to eventually kill each other. Because Chaos wants to finish a job and Pavor wants to avenge his family's death. And Chaos just keeps on egging Pavor on. Like, he is an antagonist. He is an instigator. Plain and simple. Chaos the Clown is nothing but an instigator, and he's trying to get Pavor to at least to snap and hurt him severely. Chapter 5, The Wild Cowboy Eric Massacre. This was actually kind of sad, because he was just going to the match thinking it was a regular wrestling match. He didn't know he was facing Chaos the Clown, which in turn, Chaos ambushed the poor guy and had an onslaught of violence and abuse to him, biting his head open. And after the brutal attack, he won the match and just kept on continuing this brutal assault, choking the guy out with a yo-yo. He's choking the poor guy out with a yo-yo. It took Doc and Jacob Yeager to get Chaos off of Eric Massacre. That's what happens when Chaos snaps and he's high. And then here is Eric is calling Chaos out for a match. Now, this is because of the attack. Now, Chaos goes into this match. He's going to be playing head games with Eric. Eric does overcome Chaos in this because Juggalo Jesus left a surprise there. And as far as Chaos knew, he already took Juggalo Jesus out. So while he's continuing this beating on Eric, Juggalo Jesus somehow slipped a 12-pack of Faygo underneath the ring, and Chaos saw that, and he got distracted, resulting in Eric picking up the win. But it did not excuse, or no one forgot about, the beating that Chaos gave Eric prior to the victory. Now, Chaos decided to answer Eric's challenge for a bullwhip lasso match at Mother's Day Massacre by ambushing him, hog-tying, and keeping him hostage, telling him that he is Russian roulette with 5 bullets in one empty chamber, reminding him that he is nuts. And he proves that at Mother's Day Massacre during the bullwhip lasso match, because what turned into an ordinary match later on became a very physical, very violent blood match indeed. It was a borderline death match because Chaos pulled every trick out, everything he was able to do to Eric, the mind games, the weapons, every time Chaos had a free chance, he took it. And that was the mistake that Eric was making, is he was giving Chaos that opportunity to get up and get the offense, because once Chaos gets the offense, that's pretty much where he can do whatever he wants, and he's a quick person. He's very quick. He's very tricky. He is a snake, and he uses that to his advantage. And especially in this match, where he uses that to his advantage by escaping the lasso that was tied around his wrist to break free and continue his beating, resulting in him attempting to set Eric Massacre's face on fire. That was probably the most violent match of Eric's career that day. Chapter 6, The Second Coming. After Chaos's brutal assault to Eric Massacre, he was punished by being enrolled in a Big Sister, Big Brother program, and a little to his known, his little brother was Juggalo Jesus, who was not dead, obviously, because, as I mentioned earlier about the Fago, so he indeed is alive, and now Chaos is paired up with Juggalo Jesus, and instead of doing the right thing and behaving himself, he just has Juggalo Jesus pretty much do all the stuff that he does. So Chaos continues to be Chaos and brings Juggalo Jesus into it, because Chaos talks with the voices in his head, and they realized that it would be nice to have somebody to could laugh at the same jokes as him too. So this is where Chaos decides to try to make Juggalo Jesus remember that he was a vicious bastard too, by various things, slipping drugs in his drinks. I mean, he did try to kill him a few times too, but also remembered that he is on paper and everybody knows that Juggalo Jesus is with Chaos, so if anything were to happen to Juggalo Jesus, Chaos would be #1 on the suspect list. So as Juggalo Jesus tries to get Chaos to shows him the ways of the Juggalo or try to be good, because Juggalo Jesus is reformed, but Chaos isn't having it, and he doesn't think that Juggalo Jesus is reformed as he says he is. He doesn't think he's a good guy. He remembers Juggalo Jesus is a vicious bastard, and he is going to prove that. So as time does go on through all this, looks from on the outside appears that they're having a good relationship, and Chaos is enjoying Juggalo Jesus' company, but we all know deep down inside that Chaos has ulterior motives, and soon to be, we will find all that out. Because right now, still Juggalo Jesus is trying to tell Chaos about the ways of the Juggalo, and he even buys him gifts and proposes they have a tag team. Chaos the Clown and Juggalo Jesus in a tag team. And Chaos the Clown isn't very entertaining of the idea. He doesn't like the idea of tag teams. He doesn't trust people. He don't trust himself. He works alone. But Juggalo Jesus still made the proposal, and he just wanted to congratulate him on the dirty shit that he did in his match prior. But Juggalo Jesus gave him the shirt, a Fago, and a piece of chalk. And that Maniac Killers were born. Yeah, Juggalo Jesus and Chaos the Clown in a tag team, Maniac Killers. And so they had their first match, which was against Smooch and Mr. McGee. And it started off kind of weird, but then you literally did see Chaos and Juggalo Jesus actually worked well pretty together. Like, they worked well with each other. They looked like a good tag team, because both of them could wrestle, and both of them somehow they had a chemistry. Regardless of the feud that they had so bad in the past, like, they had a good chemistry and a good match in a tag team, because they were right on top of their opponents, and they're both vicious, maniacal, and crazy bastards. And this made them a very lethal tag team, a very lethal combination. And as time progressed too, you could start seeing Juggalo Jesus showing his old characteristics again, just like Chaos was trying to get him to come out. Because of the fact Juggalo Jesus was getting his ass handed to him when he came back, and Chaos the Clown knew that he was a sadistic bastard, and he is tired of being looked at as a fucking joke because he's a clown, and Juggalo Jesus being a good makes that look even worse on him, and Chaos wasn't having that, so he needed Juggalo Jesus to come back to be Juggalo Jesus again, and just in time, because for Out for Blood 2, Maniac Killers had their first championship match, Samoan Cowboys, Eric Massacre and Sifa Tonga. They had this match, and it was for the new, vacant ECW Tag Team Championship titles. And the only reason Chaos the Clown agreed to even doing the tag team championship match is to have the belt so Eric Massacre couldn't have it. And he wanted to continue the feud with Eric because that's how Chaos is. He's an instigator and a tormentor. And he likes to make people upset. He likes to piss people off. So he does not care. But in this match, you can see it was downpouring. But the Maniac Killers and Samoan Cowboys had a pretty freaking decent match for being a rain and Out for Blood. It was pretty entertaining. And that actually was, surprisingly, the Maniac Killers came out on top and were crowned the first ever DCW Tag Team Champions. And this kind of elevated Chaos's smartassery even more, because now he could rub it in their faces that he's not the champion anymore. But who knows, maybe it was all the blood loss from Sifa Tonga choking him out that he got some kind of enjoyment out of it, because you realize he regrets about it, and he's a little bit pissed, because prior to this, Juggalo Jesus had a match with Eric Massacre, and Eric beat the fuck out of him, and Sifa Tonga choked Chaos out, so he was a little bit pissed. And this is the point you'll actually see Juggalo Jesus start to be more like Chaos, because when Maniac Killers took on the Samoan Cowboys again at Big Ass Extreme Bash, they meant business. The match was bloody, it was violent, it was, again, but you were able to tell that the Maniac Killers worked very well as a tag team. They did. They were right on top, saving each other, and you honestly thought that Chaos might have actually started coming around until he blew it. Once they lost the titles, Chaos had no reason to be around anymore, and he went and fucked it up, and that was it. Because that's what Chaos does. Chaos fucks everything up, and he continued to onslaught, because prior to this, Juggalo Jesus had his revenge, but then Chaos decided he needed to get revenge on Juggalo Jesus for having revenge because Chaos fucked him over. So that was the last of the Maniac Killers, and the Juggalo Jesus Chaos feud continues. Because of Chaos being such an egotistical asshole, he feels that he always needs to have the last laugh. He can't let anything go because he's that much of an egotistical, narcissistic dickhead. He's so against having anyone have anything to do with his life, he'll purposely fuck everything up and push everyone away. No one is safe. Young IJB first encountered Chaos when Dilvon Satan put him in a match against him. And this was literally IJB's very, very first match was against Chaos the Clown. And Chaos the Clown brutalized the living piss out of the poor kid. And he continued this and into the following year. And IJB eventually had enough and challenged Chaos to a death match. And Eclipse, no matter how hard he tried to persuade IJB against doing it, he was going for it anyway. He wanted that match with Chaos because of what Chaos did to him in the past, and what Chaos was doing to Eclipse and to the company and making it look bad. But Chaos had other plans in mind. He decided to scare the living shit out of IJB at first to see if he really wanted this. You played head games with him, would often play with his mind and put the head games and get into his head, where a lot of times IJB was losing sleep because of this, because of the mental torment and the physical torment he was putting on him. And every waking moment, IJB was a target to Chaos. Now, for a while, he was safe because Jacob Yeager had Chaos and him in the same group. But every minute Jacob Yeager wasn't around, he struck. And this actually ultimately led to the death match, where it was a half an hour of complete violence and brutality. Chaos the Clown and IJB tore the living hell out of each other. And even though Jacob Yeager was a special guest referee, because at the time, he wasn't able to compete in the ring because of an injury, so he was a special guest referee, so he couldn't really do anything. And he had to watch IJB and Chaos kill each other in the ring. Like, it was a brutal, brutal mess. As you could see in the footage, and it continued. The matches continued, and Chaos and IJB are probably gonna be a thing that's gonna keep on going, because IJB is trying to stick up for his father and the company that his father built, and Chaos is single-handedly trying to destroy it and give it a bad reputation. And IJB doesn't want that. IJB doesn't want to have that. He wants DCW to be reputable, and he doesn't want to be associated with Chaos, but Chaos does what Chaos wants. In all reality, all Chaos wants is just to watch the world burn, and he wants to sit back and laugh while it does. So, in turn, he's purposely trying to set out to cause as much mayhem, destruction, and heartache for everybody as possible, because Chaos enjoys the insanity, Chaos enjoys the panic, the uncertainty, and the fear of in people's eyes. He enjoys watching that, and that's what drives him. But IJB is a very resilient and very headstrong individual, and he is making it a mission to try to stop Chaos's reign of terror. But Chaos is also pretty much giving him a run for his money himself, because it's Chaos the Clown, and he's fucking nuts. I really do have to hand it to IJB, though. He's never backed down from a fight against Chaos. He's always stood his ground, and he's always given his 110%, even when he's, like, in the face of danger, when Chaos snaps and he's in kill mode. IJB does not stop. He does not stop. He does not give up. And I seriously, kudos to him. Kudos to that kid, because Chaos put him through the ringer. I feel bad for him. He's just trying to live his life, and you got some crazy-ass clown just fucking stalking you and breaking into your house, getting inside your head, constant torment, the constant mental anguish, and the constant everything that he's just doing to them, and it's so sad. Like, he's fucking nuts. Like, seriously, Chaos the Clown is batshit fucking crazy. He literally has no morals. I don't even think he has a soul. He doesn't have a conscience, because he does not care about anyone, anything. He is a loose cannon, an unguided missile, and everything. Chaos the Clown has made it abundantly clear on numerous occasions that he likes to live rent-free inside IJB's head, and that he does. Because of the trauma, the stalking, IJB is always thinking about Chaos. He lives rent-free in IJB's head. That's how Chaos gets the psychological damage, because he lives in your head and you fester on that. All you think about is Chaos the Clown, and that's how all these nightmares and everything else seems to accumulate and stem from the psychological damage Chaos the Clown puts on his opponents. Now, even Eclipse even, Chaos is not shy to attack. Chaos has gotten inside Eclipse's head multiple occasions too, mostly drugging Eclipse and then striking and getting in his head, because Chaos overheard Eclipse talking to his parole officer and found out that Eclipse was using Chaos to get the money back that Chaos was costing DCW, and he didn't sit right with him, so, behold, Eclipse pissed Chaos off. So that's why he started tormenting and terrorizing Eclipse by various methods of drugging him due to the stress between everything. Chaos is putting Eclipse through the ringer as well, and destroying his company, the constant legal fees, embarrassing and humiliating Eclipse in front of the wrestlers, and pretty much just the random, just causing him a headache every day, and the constant belittling Eclipse and just knocking him down. Chaos obviously does not give a shit about his job either, or his freedom, because of the shit that he does is really, really uncalled for, and Chaos the Clown, I'm surprised, isn't rotting in some kind of psychiatric freaking cell somewhere, all doped up on shit, because, like, the dude is freaking nuts. Like, he really is. Like, I couldn't stress anymore, like, the psychological problems of Chaos the Clown. Sociopath or psychopath are probably the only two terms to even describe this menace or cancer and shit stain on humanity. Chaos the Clown has no value of friendship. Mr. McGee was literally the only one that was willing to treat him with any humanity, and Chaos brutally attacked the poor man, and I feel terrible for him, because he doesn't value life. He doesn't value any life, including his own. Chaos the Clown has stated on multiple occasions the greatest day of his life will be the one where he no longer is here. He's obsessed with death. From a very early age, he's been obsessed with violence, death, gore, and destruction. He resents his parents for ever conceiving him, and he says he will hold that the rest of his life. His mental illness, his extreme substance abuse, and the fact that he has no value of life at all makes Chaos the Clown one of the most dangerous humans on Earth. Chaos the Clown is a textbook prime example of don't ever judge a book by its cover, because on the outside, he looks harmless, he looks jolly, he looks amusing. The more the layers go down, you'll see that he's an evil, dark, sinister, maniacal, psychopathic, bottom-feeding, piece of shit cancer. He is a monster. He is not a human. Chaos the Clown is a fucking monster. He is everything that is wrong with the world today. Cannot get any more disgusting than Chaos the Clown. More deviant. The man is a fucking deviant. And he does not care. He is unapologetic about what he does. Very, very proud of what he does. And he will do it time and time again just because he wants to. And he will prove that every time that he is fucking sick. Chaos the Clown is nothing but a fucking degenerate. He has screwed so many lives up, it's not been funny. He has wrecked so many lives and fucked so many heads up and traumatized and tormented so many people for so long. It's just ridiculous, the fact of the extent of what he has done to people. Literally, it is unfathomable, the freaking mental anguish and the physical damage he has done. Chaos the Clown is not human. He can't be, because no human on Earth would even remotely do a quarter of the things that Chaos the Clown has done. Adolf Hitler is a Girl Scout compared to Chaos the Clown. That's how bad Chaos the Clown is. You can't get worse than Chaos the Clown. Chaos the Clown will go down in the history books as the most sadistic, vile, dangerous, inhumane individual that's ever stepped foot in a backyard and underground wrestling territories. And he will not stop until he is buried 6 feet under. Because Chaos the Clown, well, can't stop. He is the kind of person who is driven by the violence. He's addicted to violence. Violence gets him off.